Hey, I'm Anthony Romano, and I'm going to explain to you in this video an easy alternative to fasting. Okay, so this is not going to provide the exact same results as fasting. Nothing is going to get you into the fasted state as deep as actually fasting, and the more pure you can make that fast without, certain beverages or other small calorie amounts. But this is a good tactic to actually get your body better at being able to perform fasts, okay? So I'll explain that in this video. So, if you've seen my other videos, you know I've been doing keto for a long time, 8 years at the time of this video. I've been doing fasting for even longer than that, and bodybuilding training for about 10 years. Now, if you aren't familiar with the benefits of fasting, there's a lot of other cellular cleansing benefits of deep fasting, but if we're talking about intermittent fasting or prolonged fasting and just getting your body better in terms of its ability to fast, the tactic you need to use is carb backloading. Now, essentially, the best way to make fasting easy is to be in a keto state, so a low-carb diet. This is because fasting and ketosis are basically the same thing. If you're not eating anything, you're technically not eating carbs, which is what a keto diet is. So your body perceives it the same way, whether there's food there or not. As long as there's no carbs, you're in a keto state. And in fact, fasting gets you into a deeper keto state. So if you are trying to strengthen your fasting muscle, a keto diet is the number one tip. But the actual practical tip that nobody else is going to give you is to use carb backloading. Now, carb backloading is a good way to train your body to thrive in a low insulin state. And what carb backloading is, I have a whole 30-minute video on this that explains every piece of the puzzle to actually perform carb backloading, and you should watch that after this video. But the way carb backloading makes fasting easier is because carb backloading essentially is you eat keto in the daytime, so you don't eat carbs in the daytime, and then after your workout, you will eat a bunch of carbs, okay? And they can be, some of them, of a junk food variety, provided you avoid a lot of crappy processed ingredients, which I explained in the carb backloading video. But essentially, you eat your carbs after a workout, and then you don't eat carbs in the daytime, but you still can eat other foods. You can eat fats and proteins in the daytime. And what this will do is carbohydrates spike your insulin, and insulin not only shuts off fat burning, but essentially, when you eat carbs, your blood sugar rises, and the ability to fast is like a muscle, but it's a muscle that is essentially your ability to perform in a low blood sugar environment. Not necessarily low blood sugar, but a non-spiked blood sugar environment, okay? For most of us, the feeling of hunger is highly influenced by low blood sugar. And if you went too long in between meals, then you're going to be hungry because your blood sugar has dropped. That's how our hunger works for most people. Now, that's not the only piece of the puzzle for that, but for most people, low blood sugar equals hungry. And if you are trying to avoid hungry, then you need to get better at staying in a lower blood sugar environment, okay? And the way you do that is you eat only fats and proteins. Now, not just protein. People will tell you just eat protein. That is a problem for multiple reasons. It can be inflammatory, but also because you need fat to actually use protein and metabolize it in your liver. So fat is not only going to be useful there, but it's also going to be a steady, slow-burning fuel for your brain, and it's also going to slow and stabilize blood sugar release. So it is very useful to actually get fats in the daytime. This is why I have other videos on fat fasting, which can also be a tool to make fasting easier. However, if you're somebody who can't even avoid any food altogether, then carb backloading is absolutely your tool to making fasting easier. Okay, so let's say you're trying to do an intermittent fast. The way you make intermittent fasting easier is, hey, if you can't skip breakfast, eat a breakfast that doesn't include any carbs so that you aren't getting a blood sugar spike. And from there, then if you're used to 200 carbs a day, eat them after your workout in the midday. And at that point, you're still going to be used to the same amount of carbs, but you'll probably find you actually don't need as many as you initially thought. And from that point, you're going to experience basically half of the day, or even a quarter of the day, depending on how long you do this, in a lower blood sugar state. And your body will begin to stabilize and balance things out. It will begin to get used to a low blood sugar state. However, you're basically taking the training wheels to getting into the fasted state, because the fasted state, if you were to just stop eating altogether, your blood sugar, if you're somebody who's eating carbs all the time, is going to tank. And that is why most people can't intermittent fast. The way you make it easier is by, even if you don't fast in the morning, have no carbs, and then have your carbs in the evening. Now, granted, simply hopping into the keto diet will be easier and much more powerful on your ability to fast longer, or even just intermittent fast for a whole day, right? Because I know I've done like almost 7-day fasts plenty of times. I've had people who do this as well. It's not just intermittent fasting I'm talking about here, but at the end of the day, if you're somebody who's having a hard time breaking through a fast plateau, carb backloading is your tool, because you need to get your body better at thriving in a lower blood sugar environment. And the way to do that is to simply not consume sugar until after a workout. And realistically, you only really need to have the carbs after a workout if you're somebody who is really having a hard time basically giving up the carbs, okay? Now, granted, I'm not saying that you need carbs. You actually don't. Your body can make all the carbs it needs. However, if you're somebody who is used to perpetually high blood sugar and you just need a crutch to get you to a comfortable ability to withstand low blood sugar, carb backloading is your tool. And you have to work out. You have to get a high intensity workout in for this to actually work, so that you use those carbs up and you can replenish them through carb meals. Okay, so watch the carb backloading video to understand how to do that, because I explain everything you need to know in that video. But I'm just introducing you to the topic in this video so that you know there is a way. There's a way to make fasting easier and you still eat your cake. There's a way to have your cake and eat it too. Have your fast and eat too. If you simply eat the carbs after a workout and you spend majority of the day in a protein and fat only intake, okay? So it's all about strengthening that muscle. This is the pinnacle of this video, is that the ability to fast is your ability to withstand low blood sugar environments, and your body will gradually get better at this. And the training wheels to getting better is simply not eating sugar, but still eating food, okay? And that's how you get better at a lower blood sugar environment, okay? And it's a great tool for extending fast. It's a great tool for getting better at fasting, whether we're talking going from a 16-hour fast to a 20-hour fast, or we're talking a 3-day fast to a 7-day fast, okay? It's all about putting in that metabolic training, okay? So that is it for this video. Leave me some comments on some other questions. Type in your questions plus my name on the YouTube search bar. I probably answered them already. And besides that, go to my website if you want to work together in a one-on-one capacity. If you're interested in programs, merchandise, and some other free guides I have on my website, I highly encourage you to go there. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, subscribe and like the video right now. Okay, thank you. And that's it. I'm Anthony Romano. Peace.